Good morning. William Lane Craig, noted Christian philosopher, has begun a new video series on his YouTube channel called Join Me in My Study. And I thought, that's a really great idea to allow people who might know of your work or appreciate your work kind of join in the process and feel like they're part of the conversation, not just where you go out and present to them all the time, but that they can actually kind of join you and kind of hear from you on an informal basis, where you can talk about some of the things which they might have questions about, or might be like a heady philosophical topic or something like that, where we can kind of discuss on an informal level. And so I thought that was a really great idea. And so that's a segment that I want to start on my own YouTube channel. I haven't come up with a name for it yet. I don't want to call it Join Me in My Study, because that would just be ripping off William Lane Craig's title as well as his idea. So I'll be thinking of that for this next week. And so the purpose behind it is just to kind of bring people in and have an informal discussion, kind of an informal talk about some of the issues regarding the abortion topic, or maybe a question someone has, or something a little more philosophical, such as the concepts of personhood, personal identity, things like that. And also, as part of this new video series, I would also kind of like to highlight the gifts that I occasionally receive from people who are fans of my work. This is something that I'm probably going to butcher his last name, but James Hoogmode, I think, sent me a little while ago off of Facebook. And so this is a bathrobe, and it's a Legend of Zelda bathrobe, and you can see that on the back it has the Triforce of Power. So thanks for that, James. And so basically, James knew that I had an interest in that, and out of the kindness of his heart, offered to buy it for me and send it to me. So thanks so much for that. So also, as part of this this new segment, I'd also like to occasionally highlight books that I've been going through. And so one that I'll definitely be talking about soon, and probably starting with, is Eric T. Olsen's book, The Human Animal: Personal Identity Without Psychology, which I recently read through, and I thought it was a really great book. It talks about why our psychology is not what grounds our identity as human persons. He takes what he calls the biological approach. Now, I don't think he goes far enough, because obviously, as a religious person, as a Christian, I believe that there's an immaterial soul. And I agree with the Thomistic thinkers that it's not that we're an immaterial soul that inhabits a body, like the Cartesian dualists would believe, but I believe that our body is an important part of who we are, just like our immaterial soul, our form is. And so, while I don't think Olsen goes far enough with that, and he doesn't believe that human life begins at fertilization, he believes it begins when the primitive streak is there, when the cells now start to differentiate themselves. So I don't think he goes far enough with either his biological belief or his view regarding what we are as persons. But I think his view is much closer to the truth than thinkers who go the psychological route, such as Tooley and Singer. So I'll be talking about that soon as well. I'll also be highlighting kind of what's going on in my life, personally and professionally. So yeah, because I have events coming up. I can go ahead and start with that. Basically, on the 20th of May, if you're in or near Roundup, Montana, I'm going to be giving a 12-minute presentation on Pro-Life 101 there at a church, and I'll give more information as I get it. And then so a 12-minute presentation around 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and then later on that evening at about 4 o'clock Mountain Time, I'll be sitting in on a Q&A panel at that same conference. So that's what I have going on this next month, and also that same day on the 20th, I'm not going to be in Montana. I'm going to be Skyping from Fresno. So I'm going to be giving those presentations, but then kind of between those two events where I'm going to be giving those presentations in Montana, I'm going to be in Fresno playing with a group at a kind of a not really a block party, but more like some kind of like a community event that they have going on. And I'll be playing about 10 songs. They'll all be cover songs. and it's going to be a piano-fronted rock and roll kind of thing. And then the other thing I have going on that I have set right now is that I'm going to be in Texas in September. I'm trying to set some other events there in Texas, but the one for sure that I have right now is that on Friday, September 8th in the evening, I'm going to be debating atheist YouTube personality Matt Dillahunty on the topic of whether or not there is such a thing as a right to die. So that'll be at the Bible and Beer Consortium in Dallas on September 8th in the evening. I don't have the time yet, and again, I'll get more information as that goes. So one last thing to note before I close the introduction to this series is that you might notice behind me that my bookshelf is a little bit of a mess right now. I do have basically books lining the shelves behind me, and then I have so many books that I don't have enough bookshelves for that I've had to kind of jumble them together. So my study is actually kind of a work in progress right now, and so you'll kind of see the progress as it happens when I start rearranging my study and getting more room in here, more bookshelves, so I can put my books away, things like that. So on top of the discussions that we'll have, you'll also get to see kind of the change and the evolution of my own personal study. So I do hope that you are able to get a lot out of this this new segment that I'm going to be beginning. And if you have any questions you'd like me to address in my videos, feel free to ask them either on the comments under this video, or you can send me a message personally, either way. And yeah, so the first topic I'm going to be talking about, and I want to keep the videos short. I don't want to make them too long. So I'll probably be doing the videos in multiple parts, especially if they're like not difficult topics, not necessarily difficult topics, but complicated, like complex topics. Especially if there's a lot to them, then I'll break them up into multiple parts. So yeah, I really hope you get a lot out of this, and I'll see you next week.